I'm 35 male and my wife is 34 female. We've been married for about a year and a half, and I've been dealing with some troubling revelations since April of this year. In April, I caught a dating app on her phone. She told me it was something she had from before we started dating. I didn't believe her, but I decided to let it go for the moment, and I tried to act like everything was fine. She suggested we go to a couples therapy because, according to her, our main issue was a lack of communication. We went for 2 months. But the dating app was always in the back of my mind. Fast forward to mid-August, I found her phone open, and on impulse, I decided to check her messages. What I found were a bunch of texts with other men. One of the conversations was especially compromising. There were messages that seemed to hint at something physical happening between her and this guy. Maybe sex? I can't be 100% sure, but there was enough there to make me feel like I was looking at proof of infidelity. I confronted her about it, but she immediately went on the defensive. She told me I had no business snooping through her phone, that I was invading her privacy. She insisted that nothing happened and that I was reading too much into things. Later, she confessed that it was just harmless banter and that she was just talking to these men. She also said I was controlling and claimed that she was unhappy in the marriage, which is why she was seeking companionship elsewhere. Looking through her messages wasn't something I'm proud of. But at the same time, I couldn't just sit there living in doubt. I needed to know the truth, and her behavior up to that point had given me every reason to be suspicious. What really gets me now is her refusal to come clean. Even after I told her I wanted to separate and that I knew the truth, she still acts like I'm the crazy one for not wanting to stay married to a cheater. She won't admit to cheating, and instead she keeps trying to turn it back on me, saying I have issues. I don't understand how she can't see that if there was even a slight chance for us to reconcile, telling the truth should have been the first step. I could maybe understand if she was afraid or ashamed, but to keep denying it, even now, makes it impossible for me to even think about moving forward with her. I can't rebuild something on lies and half-truths, and I feel like I deserve honesty at the very least. I'm in the process of separating from her now. I know it's the right move, but it's still incredibly painful. I wish things had turned out differently. I wish she'd taken responsibility for her actions and at least given me the truth. But without that, I have no choice but to move on. Update. We are officially proceeding with the separation. In 6 months, we can file for divorce. For now, I'm moving to my parents' place while she's staying behind in the apartment. She says I can't do this to her, that she can't pay the lease on her own since she's also got her car payment, which, by the way, is the only thing she's ever paid for. She can pay the lease if she's staying. I can't keep sacrificing my finances to make things easier for her after what she did. These are bad days. I'm grieving a marriage that I now know didn't exist. The marriage that I thought I had before D-Day. The one where I believed in us, in our marriage, in our commitment to each other. I know this is part of the grieving process, mourning the life I thought I had, the person I thought she was, but it's so hard and confusing for me to process. One minute I'm angry, the next I feel deep sadness, and then sometimes I'm just numb. In moments like these, I find myself wanting to forget everything I learned about what she did, to somehow convince myself that it wasn't as bad as I think, to find some tiny piece of hope and turn things around. I want to fix it all, to go back to the way things were. But I know I can't. The truth is in front of me, and it's not something I can ignore. I'm not excited about ending our marriage and taking away all that's mine from her. The only thing she gets to keep is her car, and that's if she can even afford the payments. Why did she do this? How long's it been going on? I guess I'll never know the answer. She was selfish, dishonest, and careless. Did she not once think of me, of us, of everything we'd built together while she was at it? It perplexes me she thought she could do this without consequences. I've spent so many nights wondering how she could disregard me like that, how she could keep lying, even after being caught, instead of just admitting the truth. If she had any remorse, why couldn't she just be honest, own up to her mistakes, and take responsibility? It's not even the infidelity itself anymore that hurts the most. It's the constant lies, the gaslighting, the complete disregard for the person she vowed to love and protect. I know that the move and the separation are the right things to do, even though it feels unbearable. I hope that with some distance, I can start to heal and make sense of what's happened. But today, I'm in the thick of it, and it hurts like hell. I just wish wish she'd thought about the damage she was doing before it was too late. I wish she had cared enough to stop herself before destroying everything we had. Story 2. A little over a month. Separation is complete, but the anger keeps growing. I was with my wife for half my life, almost 40. I never thought she would leave or cheat. I really did love her, but it wasn't perfect. We had friends who cheated, and she would always say she could never imagine being with anyone but me. A week after our almost 10-year anniversary, she went to visit her parents. The warning signs were everywhere, but I trusted her love for me. She had the signs of a drug addict. Never worked for years, personality disorder, always right, would have guys and couples messaging her about sex and hooking up. She would say they annoy her and was just being friendly, would ignore the sex talk. I should have known better, but you really think you know someone after 15 plus years. She called me every day, but the day before she called to break up, she didn't for days. I knew something was up, and when she did call, it was gaslighting. Demanded I get out of the house that day. Lied about wanting kids for almost 10 years. The threats would keep coming. After a few days and police calls, she finally showed up to talk. It took some convincing, but I found out she messed around. She lied about the drugs, but I found them in her bag. She was also on a chat group where I saved the videos and texts. It disgusted me. It was the most bizarre behavior I've ever witnessed. I got the separation done in 24 hours thanks to my job and my family friends. The fighting afterwards was rubbing in my face what she did with other people, ordering me like a slave to do certain things, trying to belittle me. I've had health issues which she tried to suggest was drug-related. It wasn't. It's stress and trauma related. She was forced to move back home over 5+ hours away, but it cost me the place I was living in. My pet, which I loved more than myself, and I'm back with my parents for a few months so I'm not alone. I have a great job and supportive friends. Everyone's told me I look much better since I left her, but it feels like people are just being nice. I don't know what happened to her. She never even cried. At one point, I thought I broke through and we could work it out, but she went for a drive, and when she returned, she was back to being cold. I even found out she wanted me out of the house so she could have the disgusting people she cheated on me with stay over. I'm not dating, feels too soon and like I'm cheating, but I'm trying to start a new life. Joined the gym. I get out every day, whether it's a drive or walk. My friends have been supportive. I've blocked her on everything because my blood pressure would spike just seeing her name. But I wish I could get over the anger. I can't because she's not even sorry. I just needed to vent, to be honest. The one person I thought who would be there forever treated me worse than anyone in my entire life. She keeps trying to act normal and be friends, but not after what she did. I wish I could send her an email telling her everything I feel, but it would fall on deaf ears. I'll be getting rid of my wedding ring today. Holding on to it is holding on to something that I know will never happen. My relationship was a lie. I wish I could get over the anger, but I can't. How the fuck do you stop caring about someone you've known for half your life? Edit. Covert narcissist is so dead on, it's scary. A few years ago, she went on leave from work, did group therapy, would mention a lot of traumatic events that she never mentioned before, but would constantly remind everyone about. Certain names and words weren't allowed to be said or she'd be triggered. None of it made any sense. She's never acted like any of this ever affected her. Maybe it's real, but she seemed more concerned about not working than her past trauma. Typing that last sentence was an eye-opener. Therapist told her they need a therapeutic break months ago, and she's been panicking about going back to work. I think it became convenient to do this to me so she had a new reason to stay home, do drugs, and get everyone to feel sorry for her. She craves the attention from therapy, gets silly tattoos about it, and makes daily Facebook posts. I knew it was attention-seeking behavior, but didn't realize how manipulative it all was. The separation is complete. I have a gym routine and personal trainer to kick my ass if I slip up. You're absolutely right. I need to turn those feelings into something productive. As hard as it is, there's a window of opportunity to change my life for the better, and I shouldn't waste it. She hasn't worked in years. She never leaves the house, or bed for that matter, so I didn't think I had to worry. She always convinced me she loved me, and these people were old work friends who would message her first. Majority of the time, it was talking about work, etc. She would show me the messages, but the more I think about it, she only showed me what she wanted me to see. I would work all day, and she would take trips home several times a year. I feel like an idiot for not seeing it for what it was. I had a lot of trust and faith in my ex-wife. Unfortunately, that blinded me to a lot. I think it's hard to believe she could have been that person all along, but I think about how she treated others, including my own family, and it seems more obvious. I have ups and downs. I think I need to find more to do so I'm not having too much free time to fall back into feeling down. She's gone. I promised everyone that cares about me I'll never go back. I had some health issues which I discovered were a result of her controlling behavior, so there's no way I could ever imagine going back to that life. It sounds like you really trusted her, and she took advantage of that trust. It's completely understandable that you wouldn't think you had to worry if she was always at home, showing you what seemed like harmless messages. The way she presented things, like they were just old work friends, made it easy for you to believe her. And it's not your fault for wanting to trust your partner. Looking back now, it's clear she only showed you what she wanted you to see. And that's a manipulation tactic that's unfortunately really common. You weren't an idiot for missing it. You just believed in her, and there's no shame in that. You were operating on trust and faith, and she abused that. It's painful, but now you can move forward with the knowledge that you deserve better. Someone who respects and values your trust instead of taking advantage of it.